Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. You have joined us today on Nubian Journeys. We are so grateful that you are here with us today. Perfect. Once again, I'm going to thank you for being here with us today. And we thank Lion Pride Music family for allowing us to use their intro music that I just played here. Fantastic. You can join him or see his music on YouTube. Check him out. I've put the information on the screen. Thank you for coming back. Nubian Journeys, we're continuing on today, and we're going to be talking about the Caribbean islands, the West Indian islands. And so today we are starting at the letter A. So, which island do you think it'll be? What will it be? What will it be? So, we are going to the island of Anguilla. What should you know about Anguilla? I'm going to try to make this video less than 15 minutes. Anguilla is a British overseas territory, meaning that they are not independent of Britain, and so it recognizes Britain's monarchy as their head of state, and they've not become independent. So while it is internally self-governing, Britain handles the country's foreign relations and defense. So that's what it means. So the next time you hear the word Anguilla, you'll remember all overseas territory of the United Kingdom or Britain. If you're looking at the map, there's an arrow showing you just about where Anguilla would be. If you've been to St. Kitts and Nevis, there it's pretty close to Anguilla. And the motto of Anguilla is unity, strength, and endurance. And just in case you're wondering what it looks like up close, there is an up close image of what Anguilla looks like. So, this is where I get excited. I know history can be so exciting. I like to know why things happen, when, and how. So, this is exciting for me. So, I'm giving you a little bit of history. So, long before Christopher Columbus ever came to the Caribbean, and once again, he didn't discover it, he arrived there. There were already people there. Anguilla was already settled by the Arawak people. So the Arawaks, I know I have an extra A there on Arawak, so ignore that for now. The Arawaks called Anguilla Malihuana. So I might have said that wrong. Somebody will correct me. Malihuana, which meant arrow-shaped sea serpent. So there you go. Where did these Arawak people come from, you may ask? I'm glad you asked me that question. They originally arrived from South America, and they came over to Anguilla, as to most other Caribbean or West Indian islands, via dugout boats and rafts. So that's what you should know there. So Anguilla was colonized in about 1650 by British settlers who came over from St. Kitts. And of course, the British pretty much has remained in Anguilla since then. There were a few times where the French tried to take over Anguilla. So in 1666 and 1688, they tried, but it didn't work. And so the British has been there since the 1650 or so. In the 17th century, tobacco and cotton, which were some of the primary crops of Anguilla, weren't producing so well. And so this is where sugar, the demand for sugar in Europe, um, helped to hover in or shove in um, the time of enslavement in Anguilla. So because they wanted the free labor to produce the sugar cane, to produce the sugar, sorry, they brought over enslaved Africans. So here you will see what is known as sugarcane. For those who've never seen it, that's what sugarcane looks like. You can see that in the side, on the side and near the bottom. And I talked up a little bit about this on the previous slide. So, the French did try taking over Anguilla a few times again, but that didn't work. And so the British are still um, there. So the British government at one point did have St. Kitts and Nevis make the laws for Anguilla. And therefore, they created a legislative union between them in 1825, even though the people of Anguilla did not want that. And so Anguilla was being ruled from St. Kitts. Did anybody else know that? I didn't know that till today. So when Britain ended slavery in the colonies in 1834, um, you know, a lot of the slave owners returned to England or, other European countries. So in 1872, the Anguillans petitioned the British government to dissolve the union with St. Kitts and Nevis and saying we want to administer the island, or Britain to administer the island directly from Britain. So it was not until later on that that actually happened. So Anguilla, the Anguilla Act of 1971 placed the island directly under British control. And then in 1980, Anguilla formally became a dependent territory, now known as an overseas territory of the United Kingdom. So it is still an overseas territory of the United Kingdom. So, in case you ever see this flag as you're walking around, before today I did not know that this was the flag of Anguilla. So, I'm so happy I am doing this kind of research and looking into it. This is the flag of Anguilla. As you can see on the left side, you have the Union Jack of the United Kingdom. On the right side, you see the three dolphins, kind of in the white section. And there is actually a meaning to everything that's on there. The three dolphin flags was very popular once it was officially introduced, and the orange color was used to represent endurance, unity, and strength. And as you can see, it's in a circle, which means continuity. The flag has a white background for peace and tranquility, and a turquoise blue base representing the surrounding sea, faith, youth, and hope. So there you go. Now you know a little bit more about the flag of Anguilla. So here are a few more facts I'd like you to know. So the main language of Anguilla is English. You will notice, however, if you go to visit, that they do have their own dialect. And so they're pretty closely tied to the English language, but you can always ask for them to slow down if they're speaking a little too fast, and you'll catch on pretty easy. So the valley is the capital of Anguilla, and you can see the size, which I did mention before, 35 square miles, which is 16 miles long by 3 miles wide at the widest point. You can see that the average temperature is about 26.6 degrees, perfect for me. Perfect temperature for me. And the currency they use there is the Eastern Caribbean dollar, but the US currency is also widely used there. And just in case you ever go to Anguilla, they it's not that populated, and because it's not that big, you don't have as many people going there on vacations, like some of the other Caribbean islands. So you might end up just enjoying it a lot because it might just be very peaceful. So some more fun facts. It is a tax heaven. How many people knew that? I did not know that. I knew about the Cayman Islands, but had no idea that Anguilla um, has no capital gains, estate, or profit taxes. There was a temporary levy that was introduced, but in general, there is no tax on capital gains, estate, or profit. So there you go. So why is it known therefore as a tax haven? It imposes no direct taxes on personal or corporate income, capital gains, gifts, or inheritance. So there you go. The dolphin on the flag, this is one of the only countries in the world that has a dolphin on its national flag. And the national bird, which you can see on your screen currently, is the Zenada dove, which is also known as the turtle dove. And I know someone will tell me that it's Zenada or something else, but forgive me if I didn't pronounce that correctly. So there are not a lot of hotels on Anguilla, but there are a lot of goats apparently. So maybe next time when I take a trip, I'll come down and see the goats. What are some of the national symbols? The flag, as we talked about, we know it has the Union Jack, reflecting its British ties. We see the coat of arms with the dolphin, which means unity, strength, wisdom. We see the turquoise sea and the crest of an eel. Then we see the national song is God Bless Anguilla. The national motto, which I mentioned before, is unity, strength, endurance. The national sport, did anybody get this right, is boat racing. I did not know that. I will have to double check that one. But I don't know if I've ever known that their boat racing was a national sport. So that's cool. So the national animal, unofficially, is the ground lizard, which is called the Anguilla bank amoeba ground lizard. And man, if you want some great beaches, go to Anguilla. So I'm just saying. The food also looks amazing. So their national dish is pigeon peas and rice, or rice and peas if you're in from other islands. But they're also known for fresh seafood. If you love seafood, this is the place to be. So you can see there, they also love salt fish and Johnny cakes and conch fritters. There's a lot of good things to have. And callaloo, oh, I like callaloo. I've never had the soup though. So, there's a lot of things for me also to go and see and do and experience. So just in case you are wondering, well, what is the makeup, the ethnic makeup of Anguillans? The majority of residents there, 90% are of West African ancestry, who are the descendants of enslaved people, as I mentioned before, who were brought over from Africa. But we also have whites as a minority at 3.74, and also mixed race of 4.65%. Now, these numbers may be a little different. They might have changed between 2001 till now, but that's the last census that I found. Here are a couple famous people from Anguilla. There's Shelia Rogers Webster, who was the 2010 Miss Anguilla. I think she's currently in politics at the moment. We have in the center Omari Banks, who is a contemporary singer. And then we have Banky Banks, who is known as a reggae artist. So here are a couple famous people from Anguilla. And last of all, I wanted to show you this map again, which I'm sure you'll see quite a few times while I'm talking about the Caribbean or the West Indies. Keep in mind, you can look to the right of this map. Near the top, you will see Anguilla. It is close to St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, St. Bart's. So you will see it there. And as we now know, it is an overseas territory of the UK, hence the reason you see UK right beneath it. Thank you so much for staying with me throughout this. Thank you for learning with me. Join us next time. We will be looking at Antigua and Barbuda. Have a wonderful day, everyone.